Next up, we're going to talk about the gum fruit.
Boo! 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 One Piece! Boo! Tomatoes, tomatoes, tomatoes! I'm throwing tomatoes at One Piece! Boo!
Superpowers are supposed to be something that only exists in fiction. They're typically needed to fight supernatural foes and threats. But when translating some of these powers to real life, some of them kind of lose their value, whether it be because they're not needed or the fact that the average human can't use them. First off, we got the Infinity Gauntlet. And for this video's purposes, I'm going to be referring to the MCU version. As we all know, a gauntlet powered by all the Infinity Stones is extremely overpowered. Heck, even one of these stones by themselves is OD. Think about how many Marvel movies were centered around one Infinity Stone. There's a bunch of things each stone can do. You can make yourself stronger, warp reality, manipulate time, travel through space, mind power, and have power over your own soul. The gauntlet just takes all these factors to the next level and makes you a one-man army. There's the fact that you can snap and wipe out half the life in the universe. Tony wiped out an entire army, and you can even pull a Thanos in.
Use the stones to destroy the stones.
Even though it's kind of stupid, but you get the point. But there's one very small problem. How many times are you going to use this thing? Think about it. If you got the Infinity Gauntlet right now in real life, you're probably not even going to be able to wield the thing. Let's give you the benefit of the doubt and say you can actually lift this.
If I remember correctly, they had the Hulk out here using the gauntlet, and he was only able to like use it once before his hand was fried. His hand was completely cooked, bro. That's a one-time power. So I mean, can you do like the whole genie thing and like use the gauntlets to give you the ability to use the gauntlet as many times as you want? Just like, you know, you get a genie, ask you how many wishes, you say infinite wishes. Yes, I'm gonna be that guy. I know nobody likes that guy, but like, why do you only want to use the gauntlet once, bro? And you probably won't even be able to use it like he said, unless you're the Hulk. In that case, if you're already the Hulk, what do you need superpowers for?
You get one use before you get deleted. This thing can only be used by the Hulk and Thanos safely because they can withstand gamma radiation. Last time I checked, us regular humans can't do that. Why do you think Tony got packed up when he used it? Heck, even one stone can't be handled by a human. Star-Lord tried to hold it and started breaking apart. This boy needed the power of friendship to save him. And if we're being really specific, Star-Lord wasn't even a full human back then in the first movie. So you'll probably get vaporized if you try to hold the stone. The most likely option for the gauntlet is that it will end up like the Nintendo Power Glove.
It's so bad.
Not being used.
You're gonna have this junk laying in the corner of your room collecting dust. Oh yeah, this is one gonna get a few of y'all mad. Next up, we're gonna talk about the gum fruit.
Boo! 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 One Piece! Boo! Tomatoes, tomatoes, tomatoes! I'm throwing tomatoes at One Piece. Boo! How many dislikes did I just get for saying that, bro? Boo! Tomatoes, tomatoes, tomatoes!
But for this video's purposes, I'm just gonna call it the gum fruit. This thing is basically pointless in real life.
Doesn't he give him stretchy powers?
As far as we know, your body becomes rubber and you have the properties of rubber. You're immune to electricity, can bounce back bullets. We're gonna come back to that one later, etc. This means you can kind of rocket around the place and you'll have some decent mobility. First off, we gotta acknowledge that this fruit takes a lot of mastery and training to even use properly. It took Luffy 10 years of extensive training to even aim his gum pistols well.
Wait, what?
It took Luffy 10 years of extensive training to even aim his gum pistols well.
How old is Luffy? How old is Luffy, bro? The training arc took him 10 years? 10 years? I don't know about y'all, but my favorite anime character, or my favorite MC, Tanjiro, it didn't take him 10 years to slay demons. It's taking him 10 years? And this is the man you want to rally behind. This is the anime you want to say is the GOAT, it's the greatest. Couldn't be my MC.
So it's gonna take like 10 years for you to start throwing out East Blue Luffy moves. Not to mention the fact that you have to be creative enough to actually create your own moves. And this isn't a problem by itself, but I know when most people think of getting Luffy's fruit, they think about Gear 5 and all of Luffy's cooler moves. Bro, I'll keep it a buck. You might be lucky to even unlock Gear 2 or 3. You know how long it took for Luffy to awaken this fruit? He awakened this junk at 19, and he ate the fruit as a 7-year-old. Man, add the fact that he was the first person to awaken this fruit since Joy Boy was alive. That means the fruit hasn't been awakened for like 800 years. That means mad people have had this fruit in the past and got murked before even attempting to awaken it. Luffy is literally the second coming of Joy Boy after 800 years. If you become one with the fruit's intentions, that means you're Joy Boy. And let me tell you this now, gang, you're not Joy Boy. And it was no easy journey to awaken this fruit. He's had to fight dozens of opponents, die a couple times, free some islands, and only then was he able to awaken the 5th gear. Oh yeah, back on that bullet point I talked about earlier, the Marines only use completely round bullets, so it won't pierce Luffy's skin. But we are not using muskets nowadays. There are some pointed bullets in real life, so don't think you can go into a war zone and just start bouncing back a bunch of bullets.
Bulletproof, bro.
Get shot up and look like Swiss cheese. While we're at it, let's talk about our Gojo friend's devil fruit, Akainu. Now I know most of y'all watching this video are probably teenagers, maybe early 20s. This means that you are probably at school for a majority of the day and you go home to chill or do work. If you're working, it's probably something similar. You go to your job and you come back home. If you ever walked around and said, I need to hit this guy with some magma. If I see someone in the comments saying,
magma,
this guy was yapping too much, so I needed a magma fist to deal with him, you're lying. Akainu's devil devil fruit makes
hell
you a
has the ability
literal
to wield
magma.
magma?
You're made of magma. This man throws a magma fist
What
and
the
chunks
fuck?
are flying off of people's bodies.
This nigga an earthbender now, bro? We taking Avatar powers? Nah, this is One Piece. This definitely came before Avatar. But still, magma? I don't know. That's like an evil power. I can't possibly see myself using that power other than bring destruction upon the earth. Like, what? When can you really use magma powers in your everyday lives? Unless you're trying to like topple a government, bro. That is a pretty useless power. I would not want magma powers.
You can rain magma from the sky. When will you ever need something as dangerous as magma
Facts.
in your everyday life? You can't just clean up lava easily. The amount of
think I
property
wrote this
damage you'll
video.
cause will be catastrophic, considering you're a walking volcano. The only benefit you get with this fruit is the Logia intangibility, which I guess makes your life a bit safer at the cost of burning everyone in sight. Hold on, before I get into my blue-eyed goat, if you've made it this far into the video, you might also should mention a certain man who's known as the strongest in his verse. And that's because of his curse technique in his eyes. However, basically all this man's bag is useless in real life. And I'm not talking about Infinity, because that's realistically his only technique that wouldn't cause much chaos in real life, because it's not too destructive. First off, we can talk about his domain expansion unlimited void. And for the sake of this argument, let's assume we can use it on regular people, because it would be completely useless if you couldn't use it on anyone. If you activate this domain, people are getting an unimaginable amount of knowledge in a short period of time. It's basically an infinite amount of knowledge. Basically, it's like being in a 4th period physics class after lunch. Your brain is being fried. Gojo used 0.2 seconds of his domain, and all these people couldn't function in society for 2 months. Imagine you accidentally kept the domain open for like a second. You're basically making people vegetables if they get caught in it.
No wonder they had a pack of Gojo in season 2 of JJK, bro. This power is too OP. I don't even know why I didn't catch that before. 0.2 seconds, just 0.2 seconds of his domain being unleashed was enough to make these people basically plebs. I think that's the correct term for it. You know, undesirables, lazy people. Let me not say lazy, but they couldn't function in normal society for 2 months. Gojo, you are too OP, man.
Techniques being red, blue, and purple. Now, the hollow purple memes are hilarious, but we gotta be realistic here. I know most of y'all watching are not murderers. Probably. So you aren't gonna send out imaginary mass and erase your teacher from existence. Seriously, if you are about to get mugged and you hollow purple someone, you're going way overkill. Look at what happened to Toji. So many buildings just have a crater in them now because he wanted to delete one person.
Imagine if you're working in one of those
Gojo
buildings.
can't run at full power when people are around. Unless you're insane or something and don't care for the people around you. If you ever encounter someone you actually need to fight, you better be in a forest or another secluded area. Because any move you throw out is going to destroy a large chunk of the area around you and likely get a bunch of people caught in it.
I can definitely understand his reasoning for like basically all of these powers that he showed us. Still though, I gotta say, I would like to have Gojo's powers, bro. Like, I don't even need to fight people. He can fly, right? He can use cursed energy. Like, that'll be enough for me. That will be enough for me. Cause like, think about it, bro. If you wanted to be Superman, like, I'm pretty sure his strength alone, like, you'll accidentally like shut your door and destroy your entire block by shutting your door because you don't know your own strength, because he's mad OP. You know, let's go ahead and check out part 2 to this though. You can't even die, this man Pluto says. You can't even die? That is a curse. I don't want to die right now, but like eventually, right? Eventually we all want to die, right?
Become a criminal. I've come to realize that it's possible that my audience consists of a lot more menaces than I previously thought, because some of y'all can't be trusted with powers. Now, contrary to popular belief, I am not a criminal, nor do I want to be a criminal if I had powers. Sure, no one would be able to stop me.
How many of y'all becoming a criminal if you have powers? Like, are you just gonna, rob banks? Because that is technically a criminal, but there's like levels to criminality, man. If you're gonna go on a mass killing spree, bro, no. Like, the government needs to develop some ultra super high-tech weapon to take you out. But if you're just gonna rob banks like they did in that movie, I think it was called, what was that movie where like they jump and they teleport? Some of y'all may know what I'm talking about. But in that movie, he was robbing banks with his teleportation power. And like, I don't necessarily see that as too evil. It's still bad, but it's not like, you know, we need you in Arkham Asylum bad, you know?
But then you gotta live the whole criminal lifestyle, like not associating with your family to preserve their safety, amongst other things, which is a lot less convenient than one would think. Then there were also people who were talking about world domination, and I believe that you guys should never ever get your hands on power. You'd be the mustache twirling villain that starts murking people for no reason. So with all that out of the way, it's time to finally talk about the first useless power on the list, One for All. Now this power is actually one of the worst you can get in real life, in my opinion, due to how much recoil there is on your body. body. First off, you
there is
can't even think
recoil.
about using one for all at full strength ever unless it's a life or death situation. Like I'm talking about.
Fate of the universe on the line, or the Martians have the death beam pointed at Earth. You better hit it.
Cause there are way too many injuries that come with the full power punch. This man Deku was breaking his arms each time he used a full power Detroit smash. And this is after having a decent amount of training with All Might. Your limbs might actually explode off your body if you try to punch someone recklessly. And personally, I think a detached limb would guarantee a trip to the ER. Plus, I know for a fact no one watching this video got the money to deal with broken arms or legs every other week. And plus, Deku was getting his arms healed by Recovery Girl, so he ain't have to spend much time recovering from his injuries. You on the other hand will be waiting a calm 3 months to recover from shattered bones. Not to mention the fact that Deku was suffering long-lasting damage after using his arms too much. So you can expect that to happen to you as well if you throw hands too much. But besides the potential of getting OD hospital bills, you also gotta remember that there's a chance you won't even be able to fulfill the full potential of One For All. Deku had so many resources at his disposal to help him train, and we don't have those UA level training facilities in the real world. Even if you manage to learn full cowling, you better be real slow with trying to raise the power. Number one, you're gonna have to be training by yourself, because I don't expect any human on earth wanting to fight with someone who can punch out city blocks with ease. Number two, you're gonna have to follow the steps Deku was taking to a T and try your best not to mess up horrifically. What are you gonna do? You go 20% full cowling immediately? That's just asking to mess up your body. And don't even talk to me about the other quirks in One For All. We saw how much mayhem was caused when Deku first discovered Black Whip. If this happens in public with a bunch of people around, you're gonna have a J. Jonah Jameson on your head every single time you try to walk around the city.
I would still like One For All, bro. I would just he makes good points though, but I feel like you could train your body enough to where you can at least use 2% full cowling, take it up to 5%. And if you've seen Deku at 5%, you know he is fast as fuck, boy. You are dusting everybody in the Olympics. You are gonna be a monster on the football field. Literally every single sport. Maybe not basketball because it doesn't really like improve your aim. That's all you. But bro, imagine being on an NFL team and you have One For All. Ain't nobody stopping you. Just tell the QB to hand it off to you every single time. I'm being running back and I'm mowing down everybody, bro. What? That is a cheat code, straight up.
Can't stand Spider-Man. I can't stand him. I hate him.
Staying in the My Hero verse, we got Dabi's Cremation quirk, but honestly, this part is going to be mostly about Dabi, because it's truly a horrific combo for him. Essentially, Dabi's body is more resistant to cold temperatures than hot because of his mom, so anytime he uses his fire, he gets burnt, which means that he can't even use his power for real without literally cooking his skin. If you were in Dabi's situation, why would you ever use this quirk? It only seems to hurt you. Like, sure, you got strong flames, but I can get the same effect with an aerosol can and a lighter. Use this quirk too much and you'll just end up as a flaming corpse with no chance of recovery. I can see why bro was so mad with his brother, because I would be tight too. You're basically the failed experiment of the family. Now the last quirk I want to cover again is this freaking tail quirk, because I still got a lot of gripes with it. I talked about it in the first video, but let's be real. The channel was in a drastically different place than it is now. First off, I need you guys to level with me here. You guys can really call me anything, like stupid, short, a fraud, whatever. But one thing I refuse to be called is crazy for calling this quirk garbage, because quite frankly, it's extremely useless. No matter what, you cannot convince me that this tail wasn't just some result of some radiation mutation or something that got passed down genetically.
Did y'all know that everyone is born, or not born, everyone while you're still in the womb, while you're still a fetus, I don't know what level of fetus, how many months, but you have a tail. We all had a tail, but it falls off by the time we're born. So yeah, he could just be a result of the tail not falling off during pregnancy. But yeah, every one of y'all, every human being, when you were in your mother's belly, you used to have a tail. Look it up. It's true. I'm not capping, bro.
We saw this kid with a big tail and realized that this kid got no quirk, and we're like, you know what? Just tell the kid that the tail is his quirk. That should work. Like, this thing just looks so inconvenient. I'm assuming that the tail just grew from the tailbone already in humans. So I can only imagine how annoying it would be to get clothes with this 3-foot appendage quite literally between your cheeks. You're gonna have to get your clothes tailor-made or something. Also, any description of this quirk is actively coping. Heck, anyone who thinks this is some S-tier quirk in general is just coping. Sturdy tail.
It's a trash
I don't care
tail,
about
bro.
the agility or breaking metal or
So
whatever.
thick and
What
meaty.
are you going to do with this quirk? Don't think you're gonna go speed blitzing anyone with this power as soon as you get it. Martial arts is like the only thing that can pair well with this quirk, and I know a large majority of us are not black belts in martial arts, so you gotta spend like 3 years learning to try to make some use of this tail. But if you're already a black belt in martial arts, just stick with that. You don't need no tail for that. And some of y'all in the comments are gonna be on my head about this part, so let's just make a hypothetical. Let's say Electro is running rampant in New York City.
Okay.
Are you prepared to do about it?
You use your tail to grab him, electrocuted. Try to jump in the air with your tail, electrocuted. Anything you do, you get bodied. And this will be very
tail
accurate
is pretty
to the show
trash, man.
because I feel like I've only seen this guy get rocked. Next ability we got is another revisit. It's basically any big name ki blast in Dragon Ball, like the Final Flash, the Kamehameha, Galick Gun, etc. Now I know
Alright,
this
nigga,
one
you
will be a
tripping.
big controversial because
You
we all
tripping,
tried to
bro.
fire off a Kamehameha. It's just the rite of passage. And quite frankly, if someone gave me the option to take ki blast as an ability, I would definitely take it. But that still doesn't eliminate the fact that the strongest forms of these ki blasts are way too strong to be practical in real life.
You can
Sure,
low-key
the
destroy the
average
earth
pea
with
shooter
it.
blast isn't
Okay.
blowing up the planet, but something like the Final Flash is a bit different.
That's
These
blowing
blasts
up
can
the
level
earth,
mountains
straight
easily.
up.
Heck, even charging one up is gonna be felt by a lot of people. And then there's the grim possibilities of missing the blast. What happens if you blow up the moon by accident or on purpose? I know how some of y'all be moving. You are running the risk of destroying so many things in the world every time you fire off one of these big name blasts. Legitimate question, what type of ops do you have in your life that requires a Galick gun? Unless you are actively looking for violence and someone to blast, some pistol with the switch is getting the job done the same way. And I know a switch is illegal, but these big name blasts might as well be illegal as well.
I think that's why I like Chainsaw Man, because like they made guns scary again. I don't know if y'all ever watched Chainsaw Man, but in the anime, like they have contracts with, you know, devils that give them superhuman abilities. But tell me why the main bad guys, or the bad guys of that season, they just pulled up with the blicky and erased like what, half of the devil hunters? Bruh, with the blicky, no contract needed. They just had a gun and then started firing. That's all they needed, bro, was a gun. That's crazy. That's crazy. So that just lets me know everyone in Chainsaw Man is weak as hell. If you can get taken out by a gun just like that, come on, anime, what are you doing? That's probably like the one anime I know where a gun will actually take out like a main character, bro. That's crazy.
Next up, I want to talk about how bad being a Jinchuriki would be in real life. My friend brought it up to
Never
me
seen
after my
Naruto,
last
but-
video, and I thought it was a really good point. We all know that being a Jinchuriki in the Naruto world is garbage. You got organizations hunting you down and trying to murk you just because of the tailed beast inside of you. And then the village most of the time wants you dead and ostracizes you from society. You get treated like
Damn,
a third-class
Naruto
citizen
had it
and
like
a
that?
grade A threat. But in my
thought he
opinion, the
was
societal
beloved
problems would probably not be as
in
big
his
of a deal in
village.
our world. The real issues start when you think about the fact that you have an actual demon inside of you and you have to try to control them. Cause oh my goodness, will these demons take the chance to run rampant? If you get someone like Shukaku, you're cooked. You can't get no sleep because Shukaku will take control as soon as you hit the bed. To be honest, you gotta have your emotions completely unlocked because you run the risk of having the tailed beast take over. And I know there's a lot of people who would let their tailed beast run rampant in a moment of
I know a
weakness.
couple
You get
people
your
too,
heart
bro.
broken, boom, Kurama just destroyed half the city.
Can't
But
control
there's
their
the chance
emotions.
that you can manage to siphon off some of the power of the tailed beast. Even if you do that, most of the forms are still garbage. This man Naruto's skin was burning and peeling off during transformation because of the chakra alone, and he ain't
Yeah,
even
I
have
don't want
control
this
of his
power,
form.
bro.
Even some of the upper forms of the tailed beast
Just give me
chakra cloaks
Omni-Man's
could
powers.
risk death if the tailed beast
Honestly.
decides to take away your chakra too quickly. So basically, you gotta hope your tailed beast isn't annoying and wants to cooperate with you. There's not much you can really do on your side. Then you also need to hope that no one wants to do any experiments on you, because the government would definitely be interested in someone
yeah.
with
They'll
enhanced
love
healing,
that.
strength, speed, etc. And
They'll
for the
love
next power on
operating
the
on
list,
your ass.
after some further deliberation, I've concluded that having a Susanoo would probably not be super crazy as one would expect. Besides the whole going blind part, which would likely be a pretty bad drawback, the Susanoo also has another deterrent from using it. This thing causes so much pain for the user. Sasuke said it was like pain in every single cell in his body, and it only gets worse with the higher stages. You're not gonna be getting some free giant samurai armor that you're gonna be chilling inside of. As long as you're in it, you're gonna be feeling that pain. Then there's the fact that a perfect Susanoo is like 100 meters tall, so good luck maneuvering that around.
Well, we're gonna end the video there. Those were some of the most useless superpowers. Guess it was kind of anime themed, but yeah, those were some useless superpowers. Wouldn't want 90% on that list because he has made some valid points, but still, man, superpowers are cool. I love superpowers. They'll make my life so much more interesting.